Thank you so much for pressing play. Hello, hello, and welcome. My name is Kim Cardeccia, and I am going to share with you some of the messages, inspiration, and wisdom that the horses shared with me this past week. And if you really enjoy this idea of looking at what the essence of the horse is sharing with us, I'd love to have you check out our website, which is confidencethroughconnection.com. And what I'd like to share with you today is this concept about it not being nothing. And Petey helped me really feel that it was worth it to try to explain this to you, because it can be a little bit difficult topic to explain in a podcast without a visual. But it's also at the same time really hard to capture some of those things on camera. So I figured I'd give it a shot. And what Petey helped me realize, we have had quite a dose of winter here in Michigan. It's been cold, it's been snowy, it's been blowy, it's been icy, slippery footing. And when you don't have an indoor arena, it can be hard to do work with your horses. Yet the energetic rehab that I am getting so addicted to, and that I see such results with the horses, there is still a lot that we can do in this weather. In some ways, if you're looking through the lens of, working your horse to get to aerobic capacity or to meet goals of showing, it will look a little bit like nothing, but I guarantee you that investing in the nothingness of focusing on the relationship, the essence, this release of tension, it's going to give you really big results in being able to connect your essence to the essence of your horse. And so circling around back to Petey again, I was walking around by his pen, and he came up, and he had locked eyes on me first, and as I got closer to the gate, he came up to me. And his hay feeder was full. It wasn't that he was starving to death, because he will convince you of that, but he needed something. So I went up, and he put his muzzle in my hands, and, I was kind of petting and interacting with my fingers, brave enough to take my gloves off. And then he started gently with his teeth kind of pulling on, I had one of those Velcro straps on the cuff of my jacket. He started playing with that. And so I just followed this inspirational nudge that he was asking for something, not just interaction and playing, but something that I could help him with. And I have Petey because he has some very big physical challenges. He has kissing spine, and I'm not sure what else. He gets very, very sore and wasn't able to continue with his career as a jumping horse, which is why I am lucky enough to be his human. And so I know that, the goal is still in his rehab journey to help him get a lot more comfortable, especially down along his spine. So I started kind of playing with his lips, kind of tickling him a little bit with my fingers, which started him to lick and chew. And then I was rubbing my fingernails along his teeth. And, I can do one of those disclaimers: don't necessarily do this at home. I wouldn't necessarily recommend anyone else doing this, especially with a horse you didn't know. But just in the story that I'm telling, I was very much interacting with his mouth in a way that he was asking for. And I'm also very vigilant, and, if it feels like my fingers are getting in a place where I could get bitten, I move them. I err on the side of caution. Well, as cautious as you can be when you're sticking your hands in a horse's mouth. But anyway, Petey is not usually a horse that will yawn a lot, and yawning is such a big release of tension. And so after I had played with his mouth like this, he let out at least 4 really big yawns, and they were somewhat dramatic, where he moved his lower jaw back and forth, he stuck his tongue out, pulled it to one side. It was pretty big, and there was a lot of eye blinking, muscles twitching in the muzzle. All of this let me know that there was something going on internally for my brown horse. And I completely believe that when we hold space for them, when we come to our horses with the intention to listen to them and to help them be able to release whatever tensions they have, they can feel that and they can build trust in it, and eventually they start accepting these invitations. And going off the premise that if a horse is in a relaxed state and a light pressure is applied somewhere to their nervous system, they will release tension. And so going with the ability of the horse's body to retain health and healing, or to seek health and healing, to retain balance, I guess, and bringing this intention to them, even on one of those bitterly cold, awfully wintry weather days in Michigan, there was still something that I could offer my horse in the way to help him progress on his healing journey. And the coolest thing is he actually initiated the interaction. And so I would, if this isn't something that's already in your wheelhouse, I would encourage you just to kind of approach your horse slowly with some question marks, and see as you approach, with this open heart, if they might move towards you. Sometimes they might move away, and that's okay. That's not something to take personally. There's so many factors that we can't account for what goes on inside of a horse. Something behind you might have blown up in the air, or some smell release. I don't know, because I'm not a horse. But something could have happened to cause that horse to move that's not related to you, or your energy, they just weren't able to let it closer at that time, given a choice. But whenever you approach a horse with this intention of being open and meeting them where they are and helping them be able to release in any way that they can, things will begin to shift. You might notice when you're in this state and paying attention to what your horse's eyes are doing, what their ears are doing, what their muzzle does, because you might notice that their blinking changes somewhat. And they might lick and chew, but they also might have some of the muscles in their muzzle start to ripple and flutter a little bit, or their lips might flap, which all of these things eventually lead to lick and chews. And sometimes eventually might be several sessions. Not necessarily saying that within a couple minutes all of this will happen. One of my horses, Annie, I used to talk about her bunny lips, because she was very stoic, very tight-lipped, and did not lick and chew, did not get that kind of a look that I like to call processy, where things are happening in the muscles on their face and how they're moving, which gives us clues that something's happening internally for those horses. But Annie would just kind of, her lips, I called her bunny lips, because they would just kind of open and close a little bit. Finally, after, I don't even know how long it was probably at least a month that I would take this intention to her. And then eventually, there started to be movement in her lips. There started to be, even if there wasn't a lot of blinking, there would be a softening in her eye. So all of these things that we can pay attention to in our horse's experience will help us be able to connect with our essences, because the horses understand that we want to know, that we care, that we're interested in their experience. I don't know in horse language what they would say, but from the human side of the experience, I think they get it and they're interested and they crave it. So just a little suggestion, an invitation to you to maybe try some of these things with your horses. And if you are even more interested, I have, there's a YouTube channel. It's under my name, Kim Cardeccia, which is Cardeccia. And there's some videos on there like on combing, which is a real, for me, it's a real effective way. It's so good for horse and human, and it shows some of these releases that you might see. So you can check that out. Our Facebook page is Hidden Promise. Website that I mentioned at the beginning, confidencethroughconnection.com. So you can get some validation and support on slowing things down, doing nothing, in quotes, with your horse, and deepening your bond and relationship. So have fun, have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.